Virginia presents the toughest test of ACC play so far. Did the Heels fix their defensive issues, or is Notre Dame just really that far on the struggle bus?
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I am your host, Isaac Schade. You've joined me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day, all part of the Locked On Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thanks for making us your first listener watch to kick off what's probably going to be a snowy weekend, a lot of the country over. Special shout out to all our everydayers, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course, our insiders as well. Coming up on the show today, we've got our good buddy, Coach Bill Robinson, head coach of the Milligan University Buffaloes, who scored a major upset on Wednesday night. We're going to ask him about that later in the show. Big time stuff inside Steve Lacy Fieldhouse on Wednesday night. Coach Rob, for those of you who might be newcomers to the show, a 2-decade veteran of Carolina Basketball School. That's Carolina's summer basketball camp. He's written a book about it by the same name, Carolina Basketball School. And man, this is a great book that you as a Tar Heel fan need to have in your collection. Go find it at Amazon. If you want a signed copy, you can get it from Coach directly. Here's what Coach and I are talking about on the show today. We're getting ready for the Virginia game. So we want to look at, how does Carolina build on the reset they had Wednesday night? Did the defense take steps back in the right direction? I want to get Coach's thoughts on Derrick Dixon starting. He's done so for 2 games now. We'll get to our Four Corners preview, where we'll let you know some of the problems that Virginia is going to present the Tar Heels. We'll get to know their personnel, game predictions, all that. Weekend whip around coming as well. Going to be a fun show. Coach, let's get right into this thing. Looking at this Virginia team that I think we thought would trend back in a solid direction under Ryan Odom, but so far has far exceeded expectations. They right now, for me, are the second best team in the ACC. So my question to you, Coach Bill Robinson, how do you build on the steps you took Wednesday night? Was that more about Carolina starting to fix some of the defensive issues, or more about Notre Dame just not being very good?
Yeah, you know how I like to stay positive about everything when it comes to all things Tar Heel, but I do think
this is headed.
I know. I think Notre Dame's just that bad, and here's a couple reasons why. Look at field goal percentage, 36%. I did get to see the first half. I didn't get to. We played the same time, same exact date, same exact time. Got to go back and watch some on film. There were some shots that were open that they just missed. And that's not a great sign. The second thing I look at is rebounding, and we'll talk more about that later. We'll giving up 18 offensive rebounds. The third thing I look at is how many hustle, and that's offensive rebounds. The hustle, other stat that goes with that is steals, and Carolina had 3 steals. That's not a lot. And
after getting 10 at Cal on Saturday.
Exactly. So you talk about those are the 3 things I look at right away to see how the defense has really played, and I think Notre Dame's just that bad right now. I hate to say that, but it's a positive in the win and win by double figures, obviously. And one of my favorite quotes is just you celebrate every win, especially in conference, and a double-digit win or a solid win like that where everybody gets to play. I think you still celebrate it. You celebrate it until you wake up the next morning and it's back time to get work again.
It is indeed tough time to get to work again because, as we've already said, Virginia going to present what is the toughest ACC test the Heels have faced so far. Also, by the way, on the road, where Carolina is currently 0-3 in conference play. And so, Coach, I think the thing for me as I think about that is that had the Tar Heels taken care of business in Dallas against SMU and or in California against Stanford and Cal, this wouldn't be such a dire circumstance where you've put yourself in a position where I wouldn't call this must win, right? But it is a critical game. At some point, you've got to figure out how to get a road conference win. By the way, Virginia has done exactly what Carolina should have done. They're 3-1 on the road in ACC play, winning at State, at Louisville, and SMU. So, Coach, as you think about no ACC road win so far, going on the road to play a tough Virginia team that you've never faced under Ryan Odom, how do you prepare for that now?
No, I think it's going to take a ton of work for your assistant coaches to do every little thing you can on film. and you need to know them inside and out. And when it's a new coach and a new program, it takes a little bit longer. There's no notes from last year to go through. Player personnel may be similar, but in today's world, it changes every year in wild ways. So, but it's going to take some time. You may even go back 2 or 3 years to Coach Odom's other places to see exactly what his tendencies are. And that's why you have a great staff, a lot of staff too, to be able to go back and see all those things. But I do think from a head coach's perspective, I'm more focused on me. I let my coaches focus on them. So what if I'm Hubert right now? I'm watching film on us and trying to figure out exactly where did we have some mistakes defensively? What do we do well offensively? What can we do to continue to grow on this? Is there something we can add new that they're not ready for? Is there something that we can prepare for in a little different way offensively? Give them a little different wrinkle. So I think there's a lot of different things to attack, and it's probably one of the hardest preps is to have a new coach that's teams playing well and on the road. That makes it really, really hard to prepare for.
Especially, Coach, when it, like, I think as soon as everyone hears Virginia, here's what people say in their head. Oh no, it's like watching paint dry. It's going to be dull and boring and like Greg Maddux pitching. You guys, here's what you need to know. Ryan Odom is not Tony Bennett. These are not your Tony Bennett era Cavaliers. Right now, Coach, they're scoring 84 points a game. They've had 80-plus points in 13 of their 18. They've scored at least 70 points in every game. So I think even though the personnel and the coaching staff is different and everyone knows that, how hard is it to shift a mindset as a coach or a player when you've known this program to be one thing for so long and now suddenly it's a whole new entity?
It's similar to Boeheim and Syracuse in the zone. And, you kind of used to having the exact same thing. And now all of a sudden it's completely different. So you have to get rid of that stereotype and realize it's a new day. So you have to, it's a totally different team. The stereotype is gone. Coach Bennett had his way and he won a lot, and Coach Odom's got his way and he's winning a lot. So it's just going to be, you have to get past that in your mind. And you see the jersey, it still says Virginia on it, but it's a whole different entity.
So interesting to see. And here's the truth of the matter. Virginia, there's a lot that they do really well that Carolina is going to have to contend with. Not to mention, most games this year, Carolina has a size advantage, not necessarily as much against Virginia. Caleb is going to have his hands full with Thijs De Ridder. They keep their guys fresh. No one averages more than 27-6 a game. So there's all of that, Coach. And a big part of that then is going to be part of this conversation we've had all season long about Carolina's guards. 2 straight games now, Derrick Dixon has been inserted into the starting lineup. He's averaging 12 and a half games as the starting lead guard, shooting over 50%, both from the field and 3. In these first 2 games with that switch, Coach, did you like the switch? Because I know we were like, hey, we think Kyan Evans can do that, but was it time? Where are you at on that? And how has Derrick done, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it was definitely time. And it's hard for us to see that because we're not there every day. But I think if Hubert says, yeah, it's time, it's time. He's done exactly what he needed to do. He's made shots when he's got opportunities. He's distributed the basketball. He stays in front of the basketball. He's done all the little things. And they don't need him to be great. They don't need him to put up 30. But if he averages 10 plus a game and average 3 or 4 assists, a couple rebounds, that's exactly what they need, knowing you're going to get production from the other guys, especially the front court.
And then we also saw, Coach, I did not see this one coming, was Jaydon Young entering the starting lineup on Wednesday night. You talked about the coaches trying to find any advantage they can. Coach, we are 19 games in, and we've seen 4 different starting lineups in the last 5 games. What you about what this staff is still trying to figure out about the team?
Yeah, they're still searching. And there's a guard problem. I think we all know that. And there should be a lot more depth, and maybe there's not the quality that we thought originally, but I still think it's really good. But you can tell that when I actually turned on the synergy and I saw the first possession, and I saw Jaydon Young out there, and I thought, did I skip ahead? Did I, and I actually looked and I was like, wow, I need to go get the stats. And because I really did, it caught me completely off guard. I did not see that coming at all. And he didn't play a ton of minutes, but to me, that shows that Hubert has seen something in practice. He has seen something in his effort. He's seen something in his preparation that he rewarded him with that start. And And I think that's more of what it is than the other guys not necessarily performing. But, let's be honest, if Luka had been making shots, he wouldn't be coming off the bench. If Jonathan Power were playing better, then he wouldn't be coming off the bench either. So I think it was shocking for all of us. I don't think it's going to be something that lasts. I think we'll see those other guys get more minutes too. So I hate to see them still searching, but I'd rather them search January than be searching in February or March.
As they did last year, right? Like it took
Correct.
till then essentially to find what they finally went with the front court there of Van Allen Lubin and Jalen Withers. And so that's absolutely right. So Coach, do I hear you saying, do you think Jaydon Young will start again on Saturday? I know you don't know any insight on that and you don't have anything. Like, do you expect it to be different again, or do you think we'll see Jaydon for a second straight game?
Me specifically, I'd like to at least give him more than one game. You can't just say, okay, we're going to try one time, but you don't do well. Then so I would not be shocked at all to see him out there. And again, it has a lot to do with what's going on in practice today that you and I are not there.
Right,
but I really believe that it's not something that you just throw a kid out there one time and it's just, fail. You don't do it anymore. I would not be surprised at all to see him get at least one or two more shots at it.
Yep. Great point. All right, Coach, we got to get to our Four Corners preview. As I said, there's a lot that Virginia does well. We're going to let you know about some of that, including something that Carolina's got to clean up from Wednesday night when they let Notre Dame go wild on the offensive glass. We'll get that and the rest of the Four Corners preview in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel, who is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for you right inside the app. Each game day, basically what you do, you go into the app and you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply on the bets you already like the most. You open the pack first thing on game day and see which of them you want to apply. It lets you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum or defense, quarterback play, Drake May, what's up, or coaching. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. You can make your picks, then go ahead and apply your profit boost on top of that to go after even bigger payoffs while the playoffs get rolling. Go check out the line for Carolina at Virginia coming up on Saturday. As we record, the line is not out yet, but I'm imagining Virginia is going to be favored in the 8 to 9 range. Do you think the Tar Heels can stay within that or maybe even win right out? Man, go ahead and get in on that action. Visit FanDuel.com right now, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Thanks so much for making Locked On Tar Heels your first listen or watch of the day. Thanks so much for making Locked On Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. It's all because of you, true diehard Tar Heels fans. And if that's you, you need to go next level with our show with the brand new Everydayers Club. The link for it's in your show notes. You get exclusive newsletter, 15% discount on Locked On merch store, all sorts of great stuff. Check it out in the show notes. Coach Rob, let's get to our Four Corners preview where we give the good people 4 things that we're watching for in this game that will help determine the outcome. Should it be played, we're assuming we're not going to get the snowpocalypse, but we'll see what happens. Coach, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, the first one I'm really looking at is the rebounding. Virginia's a +9. Carolina gave up 18 offensive rebounds. Now, didn't translate into more second chance points. Obviously, Carolina still got more second chance points, but the 14 more shots is what bothers me. I think Notre Dame only turned it over 5 or 6 times, but having the opponent shoot 14 more shots when it comes to teams that you have to beat, especially on the road, you just can't give up that many offensive rebounds. You've got to take care of the ball. You got to force them to some turnovers too, but the rebounding is what I'm really most curious to see what happens on Saturday.
Especially, Coach, because as I look at Virginia's numbers, they are 4th in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. They're 11th in the nation in offensive rebounds per game. And their defensive rebounding is not shabby. They're 32nd in the nation with 27.7 defensive rebounds a game, 14th in the nation in total rebounds per game. And Carolina just surrendered what you talked about to a Notre Dame team that was outsized. Obviously, Coach, they had a lot more missed shots to gather than the Tar Heels did, with Carolina shooting over 50% again. But still, the fact remains what you just said. How do you reframe that in these couple days leading into this game if you're Coach Davis and the staff?
Yeah, I've never had a great rebounding team that was bad. So when you talk about the rebounding numbers that Virginia has, obviously that's a big part of why they're great. But it is something you've got to emphasize and practice. Players do what you emphasize. So there's a way where you can just identify one. Say it's Sean May, and you have Sean May stand underneath the goal, and every time there's a missed box out, he calls that guy out, whether you pull him out or whether you make him do push-ups or run or whatever. But you make it something that you emphasize possession by possession, not just a drill. But Coach Williams never did any rebounding drills. He just made it. He just made it a priority during the plays where they would have somebody just be identified whether they're doing what they're supposed to be doing or not, with box outs, with chasing rebounds, and doing all the little hustle things.
Man, okay, great stuff. I appreciate that. So let's then switch to number 2 in the Four Corners preview, where we mentioned that this offense is a different offense than a Tony Bennett Virginia offense. They're highly efficient, 17th in the nation. Actually, the Tony Bennett offenses were efficient. They were just plodding and slow. But here's what you need to know. Virginia is also very good in defensive efficiency. They're 17th at KenPom. They're 14th at Torvik. They allowed the 3rd fewest points per game in the ACC, and coach, so much of it is what they're doing with field goal percentage defense. They're holding teams to 38.1% shooting. That's 7th in the nation, not just the ACC, the nation. They're holding teams to 43.6% on 2, best in the nation. They are allowing teams just 28.9% on threes, coach. It is very difficult to contend with these Virginia Cavaliers. And so for Carolina, coach, it's kind of a strength on strength situation. Something I talked about yesterday is while Carolina's defense has been kind of falling off the cliff a bit, the offense has been slowly getting more and more and more efficient. Even though it might not feel like it because of trying to figure out the guard situation, they truly are. They're top 30 in KenPom offensive efficiency. So coach, when you look at what Virginia isn't allowing to teams, what does the Carolina offense then need to do to make sure they're getting their buckets?
Yeah, you need to stay within the system, and you need to be able to keep the ball moving, bodies moving, ball moving. You can't let it stick. Great defensive teams, if the ball sticks and holds, it gives the team time for everybody to get reset, times for help to get there. You have to be able to really attack it and then take advantage of where you do have some mismatches. And obviously, I mean, Caleb and Henri have been great, and you need those guys to play well and make extra passes. And I don't know if they'll double. I don't know if they'll need to double like Notre Dame did and what they've seen a lot, but they need to make sure that those guys make great decisions when they catch it in the post and make that extra pass.
Boy, I thought Caleb made some great decisions out of the double teams on Wednesday night. Multiple skip passes to the other side of the floor for threes. There was one in particular I remember where Bogey did a great job swinging it on over to Derrick Dixon for a wing wide open 3. Great stuff there. All right, coach, what's number 3 on our Four Corners preview?
The third one for me is are we going to see more zone? Are we going to see anything different defensively? At Cal, they tried it. It would seem like it was a pretty big failure. The zones today should be more designed for perimeter, to defend the line, extend it out, force that ball to go to the high post, allow Henri to guard people one-on-one. It's more of what the newer concepts are of zone. So I would like to see them obviously defend well, and it doesn't seem like we'll see some zone, but I am curious just to see if they'll do a little wrinkle here and there just to be able to maybe try to get Virginia out of rhythm.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. Coach, I love what you said there about modern zones being set to defend the outside shot better. Does that, because it looked to me at Cal like Carolina was in a pretty basic standard 2-3 half court zone. Are you looking for more of like a 3-2 or a 1-2-2 sort of look to take away some of those outside looks? How would you approach that?
Yeah, we actually like the 3-2 a lot better for defending. The 3-point line, you have to have guys on the baseline who can get out to the corners. And Henri would have a little, maybe a harder time. Caleb maybe it's a little easier. But I do like the 3-2 a little bit more. It's our magic, what we call. And you have to be able to get out there and be able to still guard one-on-one, even though you're in the zone. But it gets you in the gaps a little bit more and allows you to get out there and really contest the 3-point shot a lot better.
All right, so we'll see if Carolina utilizes any of that as they did at Cal. Again, we didn't really see any of it against Notre Dame, but again, this Virginia team is a different beast, so we'll see what happens. Number 4 in the Four Corners preview, Virginia, a very good shooting team, shooting 37.1% from three. That's 31st nationally. That ain't great for a Carolina team that had given up 5 straight games of 12-plus threes, gave up 8 against Notre Dame. We're on pace to give up 12 or more. Notre Dame was 6 of 12 in the first half. And, Coach, one of the things here is 6 of the 7 Cavaliers who take the most threes are all shooting 36% or better, including Jakari White, who is shooting 50% on 4.9 a game. Devin Tillis shooting 41.2, and Thijs De Ridder, the big man, shooting he's their power forward, their 38.9% on 3 attempts a game. I think that matchup with Caleb is going to be really interesting at the 4.
Man, if I'm Jakari White, I'm shooting 50%. I'm going to take more than 5 a game.
That's exactly.
As a coach, I want to make, hey, let's get that up to 10. See if he can make 4 or 5 a game. But
right.
No, it's very concerning. Obviously, with the numbers, the reality is those numbers. When it comes to, you still play the game. You still have to go out there. You need to compete, and they got to know the scouting reports. I don't see them switching 1 through 5 again. That turned out to be pretty big disaster too.
Yeah.
But let's just go out and attack them. Let's challenge the guys to play your man, guard your yard. Let's go out and attack them, and make sure that they don't get any open looks. Make them put it on the floor, and then help rotate. They've got 2 great rim protectors. You can put Seth Trimble into that too. He made an unbelievable block the other night at the rim. You guys, so let's not let them sit out there and shoot threes, run them off the line, and make them make plays inside the arc.
Both that block, Coach, and then the one where Henri blocked Jalen Harrelson, and then he just dropped the ball on him sitting in the out of bounds line. That was beautiful, and I loved it. All right, so there you go. That's the Four Corners preview, gang. We'll see how the Tar Heels fare. What about Virginia? How have they fared in the first year under Ryan Odom? Obviously pretty well, as we've been talking about. We're going to unpack that, make some game predictions. Coach Rob will share about the Milligan Buffaloes' big upset, and we'll have around. If anybody plays in the snow, we'll see coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about TurboTax. Look, you guys, tax season doesn't have to take over your life, because this year TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. And I cannot tell you the peace of mind that gives me as somebody who gets so stressed about taxes. Truly, it's in the back of my mind all spring long, and I just want to think about basketball and my family and eating good food. But with TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without that stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out all these forms, you meet with the local TurboTax expert in person, or you connect with them online. Then they handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms, and they work to get you every deduction they possibly can. You just upload your documents, you go about your day, and you can see updates in real time right there on the TurboTax app. It really is a huge time saver. It gives you that peace of mind I was talking about, knowing that an expert is handling it. So for a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th, take taxes off of your plate, and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. Here we go. North Carolina at Virginia tomorrow, Saturday, January 24th at John Paul Jones Arena, the JPJ in Charlottesville. Coach, this game has been moved up because of the weather from 2 o'clock. It is now at noon, and it will be on ESPN2 instead of ESPN. FanDuel line is not out yet. KenPom has it Cavs -9. The Torvik line has it Cavs -11. Coach, when there's a schedule update like this, how much does that affect your team? Obviously, it affects travel logistics and all that stuff, but is that a thing you process with the team, or is it just, hey guys, game moved up 2 hours, let's ball?
Yeah, if it's 3 or 4 days ahead of time, I don't think it's a big deal. I think if it's the day before and you're not planning on it, all of a sudden you're scrambling, that's a big deal. But let's be honest, they're going to go the night before, whether they get up, 2 hours earlier. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So it is something that guys have to adjust, but they're used to playing at various times. So it's not like it's an 8 a.m. game like we have to play in our conference tournament sometimes. It's a noon game. There's really no excuses for any problems with that.
I love it. All-time series record. Carolina leads 136-62. Heels have won 2 straight. We've talked about him multiple times now, but Ryan Odom is in his first year at Virginia. He comes over after 2 years at VCU, was 2 years at Utah State before that, and 5 years at UMBC before that. Where, Coach? What did he do? What did he do while he was at UMBC?
Beat Virginia.
He beat Virginia in a very famous upset. Coach, what was it?
Yeah, 16-1.
The first time ever.
Time.
Man, I like the full circle irony of that. I love it so much. Yes, Ryan Odom was the first ever coach for a 16-1 upset in the NCAA tournament against Virginia in 17-18 before the Cavs turned around and won the whole next year. And now he is their head coach. I think it's so cool. But Coach, I love not only that full circle, but the even bigger fuller circle is the legacy of this, where probably ACC lovers are very familiar with Ryan's dad, Dave Odom, longtime head coach at Wake Forest, but was an assistant coach there in Charlottesville, where little Ryan was running around. Coach, as somebody who has had his son on his staff, who knows what that family lineage means, how cool is this to you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's one of the coolest things to be able to see your kid and see him make his own legacy too. As my son's doing the same thing, going the high school route now, but to be able to see him grow and have so much success, Dave's got to be incredibly proud. Dave and Coach Williams are also real close friends too, so that adds a little bit more to this rivalry, I think.
Yeah. That's so fun. It's like, obviously want to beat the pants off Virginia, but I just, the basketball lover in me is just, I just love that storyline, man. The Cavs right now are 14th in the AP poll. They were picked 5th in the ACC preseason. I'm gonna tell you right now, they will not finish that low. They're 13th in the net. This is a massive quad 1 opportunity. 13th at Ken Palm, 7th at Torvik, Coach. So far, they're 16-2, 5-1 in ACC play. They started in Blacksburg to Virginia Tech in 3 overtimes. But since then, they've rattled off 5 straight in ACC play. Best non-con wins, Coach, they didn't really have any elite ones. Their best win was at Texas. They beat Northwestern. They beat Dayton. There's not really much of note in their non-con wins. Their lone non-con loss was to Butler on a neutral floor. In the ACC, they've won at State versus Cal versus Stanford, at Louisville, at SMU, Coach. So they have done the things that Carolina has not. They've taken care of business on the road, and now it's Carolina's turn to try and do that. Coach, how do they change this road narrative?
Yeah, at Louisville, at SMU are really impressive wins the last 2 games. So they're going to have to play well. They're going to have to make shots. They're going to have to defend, rebound. They're going to have to do all the little things that you have to do. To beat a really good team on the road, you have to make free throws. I mean, it's the whole package. And I know this sounds simplistic, but I mean, you have to put a full 40 minutes together and not just play hard, but play hard and well.
Coach, I must, you said it earlier. I'd like to be positive. I do not have faith that the Tar Heels are going to hit their free throws. The last time they were over % was Michigan State on Thanksgiving Day. They've been at or under 70% from the free throw line in literally every game since. That is wild to me. Anyway, here's the personnel for Virginia. This starting 5 has started all but 1 game together. Dallin Hall at the 1. He's a 6'4" guard. He's their leading assist man. Malik Thomas, 6'5". He's the second leading scorer at 13-6. Sam Lewis at the 3. He's a 6'7" small forward. Thijs De Ridder, 6'9". He's their leading scorer at 16.1 a game. As we said earlier, he shoots just shy of 39% from 3. And then the big man, Johan Grunlow, he's got the little umlaut over the U. I always love it when that happens. He's a 7-footer. He's their leading rebounder. They go 9 deep, Coach. There's 4 dudes coming off the bench. Chance Mallory, he essentially plays starters minutes. Devin Tillis, Jakari White, just his third game back from injury. And then Ugana Onyenso, who started at Kentucky, another 7-footer. Coach, I said it earlier, the Tar Heels have a size advantage in almost every game they play this year. Not quite necessarily so against this Virginia team. Another thing that's going to make it difficult.
Yeah, the balance is really impressive. 9 guys averaging 17 minutes or more. It makes it really, again, we talked about how hard it is to prep for this game. It's even harder when you have that many guys who are can shoot the basketball, can score. You can't just leave somebody open. You can't help off anybody. Just going to be a really tough challenge, but it's conference on the road. It's January. It's time to step up and play well.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, I've kind of been saying like, hey, look, I know all signs are pointing to Carolina probably not winning this basketball game, right? Like it's just where things are right now in this season. However, this is an opportunity to prove things to yourself, to your fan base, to the conference, and to the nation. So why not go out there and just ball? You got nothing to lose. You're on the road in a game you're expected to lose. So who knows? That said, Coach, let's make predictions on this thing. Again, as I said, we don't have the FanDuel line yet. Ken Palm favors Virginia by 9, Ken Torvik by 11. Where are you at on it?
Well, they're my friends, and there's no way I can pick against my friends and never will. If they played the Lakers, I would still pick Carolina to win somehow, some way. But I see Caleb hitting a couple free throws with a few seconds left, getting a stop, and them winning somewhere in that range of 87-85, something like that. I think it's going to be high scoring just because I think it's going to be a tempo game. It's going to be a lot different than it's not going to be the 55-50 games that we've seen in the past.
I like that. Coach, I went with a reverse jinx in the Notre Dame game. I said Carolina would win but not cover, and they covered exponentially. So I'm going to keep riding that train and say that Carolina loses this game by 10 in a similar spot to what you said, 85-75 in favor of the Cavs. And I'm hopeful that my reverse juju is going to help the Tar Heels find their way to a dub in this one. We all know how those superstitions go in sports. I'm a guy that literally never has stepped on the foul line in my entire life. So I'm not just a little stitious, I'm superstitious. Coach, your Milligan Buffaloes on Wednesday night had a massive upset. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's been a rough year for us. We've lost 11 guys from last year's team, and it's been trying to start 3 freshmen. One of our freshmen got hurt. Now one of our seniors got hurt. It's been a real mess. But had the number 12 team in the country who had won, I think 14 games in a row, were undefeated in the league, and ranked 12th in the country NAI-wise. University of Pikeville out of Kentucky, and got a big win last night at home. Of course, we had to score over 100 points to do it because we can't stop anybody right now. But it was
that sounds familiar, Coach. That sounds familiar.
It does. Knowing that we didn't have to play Saturday because of the snow that's supposedly coming, I was able to play my 2 best players 40 minutes last night, never took them off the floor, and we made shots. And my best player, Elijah Breadwood, scored 42 points last night. So a huge win, getting us out of the cellar, at least in our league, and hopefully we'll be able to fight back in. We got a month left, so we've got some work to do.
Well, Coach, I'm very hopeful that can kind of spur the Buffs on to some victories. And man, it's just, you love those moments in the middle of a season. I loved watching the reaction video. You were so amped coming into the locker room, getting doused with water. What was that moment like?
Oh, I hate getting water in my face. I grew up, I had a hole in my eardrum as a kid, and I don't like going underwater. And I actually looked at my staff before going to the locker room. I said, I don't want to get wet. And they said, well, you're going to. And I said, that's okay. I'll do that. But no, it's wonderful we've been, I think we've lost 12 out of 13 with all the injuries and stuff that's happened. So to be able to win a game and celebrate like that was a lot of fun. Then we all went to Waffle House. So, that's the way to finish the night with a great cheesesteak bowl, at Waffle House.
How do you get your hash browns?
A little well done.
Okay. I can't remember, there's all the scattered and smothered and covered. I forget what all those are, but give me some jalapenos, give me some onions and cheese, and I'm good. All right, Coach, man, I'm so happy for you guys. Maybe the Tar Heels can ride that same Buffalo momentum Saturday. Assuming they get to play, we'll find out how that's going to go down. Quick weekend whip around, you all. Women's basketball, 2 games this weekend. As we record this earlier on Thursday, Carolina, the ladies have not played, but you already know the result. They played at Georgia Tech down in Atlanta last night. They host Syracuse on Sunday, 2 p.m. on the CW. Both tennis teams are in action this weekend in the ITA kickoff weekend. The ladies are ranked 3rd in the nation. They're 4-0. They beat number 14, Virginia. That's a good omen earlier this week, 6-1. Non-conference matchup. That's always weird. Tomorrow, they will play at 11 a.m. against the winner of Charlotte and Columbia, who are playing today. As for the men, they beat Queens earlier this week to start off their season. They're at Winston-Salem, where Wake Forest is number 1 in the nation on the men's side. They will play Vandy today at 1, and then tomorrow either Wake or Virginia Tech. Wrestling, huge matchup tonight. The Wrestlers are 8-1, 1-0 in ACC play. They're 11th in the nation, but tonight they are on the road in Raleigh. where NC State is 8th in the nation. That's 7 p.m. on ACC Network Extra. Massive opportunity for the fellas. Gymnastics, they're 2-2 overall, 0-1 in the ACC. They host Pitt tonight, 6:45 on the ACC Network Extra. Fencing was supposed to be up at the Penn State Invitational. That's already been canceled for the weather. And then track and field is up in Blacksburg today and tomorrow for the Hokie Invitational. So hopefully a good weekend all around for the Tar Heels. We'll recap that on Monday. Coach Rob, always great to be together. I know you've had a crazy day and a crazy week, so I'm so grateful to you as always for your time. You all, if you have not checked out Coach's book, Carolina Basketball School, again, let me implore you to go find it. Get yourself some snow day reading for this weekend. That would be great stuff. If you haven't subscribed to the show, video and audio, do it right now. If you haven't checked out the Locked On Tar Heels Discord or our brand new Everydayers Club, those links are in the show notes. Y'all, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be live after the game tomorrow, hopefully celebrating a win and not having a therapy session for the, 4th time in the last 6 games. So we'll talk to you then, but for now, peace.